Welcome to OG Foundation, capital of the sovereign state of Elodium. I am your host, Sovereign Non of Elodium, and it is actually Saturday evening. It's Friday evening. Usually the episodes don't start till Saturday, but I ended the last one in the morning because it's a rainy day. But even though it's raining right now, I'm still intending to do a batch of mortar. But I got kind of stuck out here. Hopefully this is the last shower and then I can get right to mortar. And here's how this little rain spigot thing between the two bunkers, how it's doing. So the rainwater collection rate has increased. In addition to those two over there, they're collecting more water. And get to mortar after, see how it goes. So far I did a little prep, but I'll show you later. Oh, it's really coming down now. Look at that one over there, shooting at the wall. Thought it was going to stop raining. I don't know what this is. Ready to fall. I'm mortaring in the rain. Can't stop me. This is one of my biggest washouts of the season. So this wasn't quite a vertical face, and it was downslope of that. So the little rain really washed a good bit out, but now the sun's out again. I'm going to try to recover a bit of it if I can, but another good learning lesson. I'm 1.5 batches in Saturday at noon, and I just wanted to give you a shot mostly of this T-post here. So I put that T-post in there to give the middle a little bit more rigidity because it's going to be thin, and I'll probably be covering it up in the next 2 buckets. And I got some good coverage in this corner too. So I got through the first 1.5 pallets of Portland and just unwrapped the last pallet and I'm gonna stack it in here. And now they are all in. I got 4 batches done today, Saturday, and moved a pallet of Portland cement inside. I had to trim this box elder here. You can see down there, it's actually growing out of a tire. It was just getting too tall. And now the boys are helping to trim the other branches. Nice sunset. So it's Sunday morning, and today I'm going to see if the goats will hang out while I work, now that I've got the ramp to the point where they're not going to break it by walking on it. They did walk on it like a day early, and there's one little area that they chipped. They love the spaces up here. They love climbing on all the things, especially Benedict. He's a bit more agile than Han. So the last coat I did yesterday, I did undercoating for all this. So I got coverage on pretty much all of it. And theoretically, I should be able to walk on it now, though I haven't walked on it. And first we're going to have the goats test it. What do you think, boys? Oh, nice climb. Or jump, I mean. What do you think, Han? Will it support my weight? So I'm going to try walking across. Hopefully this doesn't break. Okay. That was alright. So I chose to walk across right near the wall because that's where it's strongest. All the rest of this will just continue to harden over time, so I don't want to like stress it any more than I need to because it's only going to get stronger. But that's good that at minimum it can hold me. And now I'll prep this last Merlon, and then I'll be doing some prep up on that arch as well, so that the next batch of mortar I should be able to get coverage on both. And hopefully the boys will be good while I do so. Wild boys. Oh, good job, Han. Was that the first time you made it? Yeah, good boys. I don't think there's any animal other than goats that can or would appreciate my structures as much. Cats really like them, but goats, they'll run and play and wrestle all over the different terrain. It's fun to have cool features they can play on. Sunday early evening, and this is batch number 2. Batch number 1 got on the arch and facade stuff I'll show you later, but I just wanted to show you this. There were some comments asking about like how do you join things and whatnot. So we've got an existing structure. I just put up a new cattle panel. I had put this one vertical here, and I've been mortaring that in, and you can see where it ends right there. And then I just basically kind of, hey buddy, I had one tie on that cattle panel, and otherwise I'm propping things up against it. And then oh, you made it around here, look at you go. They're gonna mess with this metal here. So I just got the first bucket on, and now I'm gonna put another bucket or two, and I'm just smothering the mortar on over the cattle panel, and it has lots of fiber in it. Just got to make sure it's wet enough to break the surface tension so it can bond with the other structure. And I do that with the technique. Most of it's all by hand, and you kind of like shake it back and forth as you're applying it to break the surface tension so that the mortar can bond. So on to bucket number 2, and hopefully these boys don't mess with this metal, though I know they're going to, especially Han. Oh, no, get out of here. Yeah, it's gonna be, that shook like a good bit just from that. So if there's mortar on there and they do that, mortar will fall out, but such is the risk of having the goats out. I like having them out though. It's much nicer than them having to be in a pen. They can get more free range experience. End of the day Sunday, I got 3 buckets on this wall here, getting this horizontal cattle panel mortared onto the existing structure. I'll end up bending it back, but I want at that angle to get the bottom part of it all mortared on so that it'll have enough bond so that I can bend the upper part back. This was just one coat and just applied heavily, so I kind of like smeared it on, and then I would throw plops over wherever the metal of the cattle panel is. So there's an idea, and then it goes on the beyond there as well. And so this will be a structural thing that will also tie together all of the other panels, which are all going like looping over that way. So now I'm all out of cattle panels. It's Monday morning. I'm just getting started for the day and kind of reviewing where I have available surfaces for mortar to make sure that I've got enough surfaces for a whole batch. And so I'm reviewing what it looks like underneath these stairs so that I can see where I need to add more mortar. So reinforcing that piece of rebar, a lot of the underneaths and corners and stuff. So it's all really solid right now, but it can get a lot more solid. And then got all this covered yesterday for the last Merlon and the last part of this ramp. I can, now that it's cured another day, I can get a good feel for how it feels. I feel like right there is going to be the weak point. And I might end up doing something like making the sidewall a little taller in the middle there or something to address that. And the other idea was to roll out a piece of that plastic, the 1/4 inch kind of like plastic one, not the fiber one, but the plastic one, to roll it out down the ramp, and then to put another wet batch over that, because that'll also help. Even though it's plastic, it'll help to spread the force and won't corrode over time. So I've got this all tied in so I can get a second coat on all of this stuff, which was all fresh from yesterday. and then remove these last two forms. I think I'll be able to do that, and then get coverage on both sides of them as I'm continuing to work my way up here. Got a little bit more on the second step yesterday, and I'm just going to keep pushing the line of lath from this side, even though I'm going to crest the middle of the arch probably in this one, but that's what I'm going to do. I just got to go over there and get a good view of it to make sure the shape is good, as opposed to working my way up from the column there with the concrete. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I finished prep up here. I rolled out this plastic netting stuff, which is going to go over all the previous stuff and be kind of like a top layer. It's like a new thing I'm trying. I think it's going to work well. I'm actually liking this plastic material more and more the more I'm using it, because it's like strong, it won't degrade, it's like a certain size that you can get mortar through, but you can also keep mortar on the top. So I prepped the next section up here. I've got 3 cinder blocks weighted down on the rebar there. There's 2 cinder blocks hanging over here, and then there's a thing here all to push this side of it down so that right where the cinder blocks are, it's level between the left and the right. So should be able to get about a bucket up there. This will probably take a whole batch, and then I'll show you what it's like down there where I'm mortaring in that cattle panel for the second arch that'll rise up. So this is the next day after the first batch, which was 3 buckets over here. So I took off the supports, the T-posts, and the things that I had leaning against it. So I was just leaning stuff basically against the cattle panel to get it to the right kind of place. There's just one tie at that end, and there's a couple ties on this end to tie it into this cattle panel. And so you can see all the coverage right now, and the first batch, and you can also see the color, the light gray on top of the dark gray. So that's curing quickly, and you want to get that covered with water now. So I'm going to do the first batch of mortar, and the first batch I'm going to start probably 2 buckets over here and start by getting over all of this stuff. So that'll and then also questions about bonding, how to bond the new cement with the old cement. So it's about water, breaking the surface tension of the water as far as I understand it, and then having them cure at the same pace so that it gets to the same hardness, so it's a consistent kind of rock. So by adding the second layer on now, it'll bond with the first layer, and it'll help the first layer bond with the underlying layer, because it's like a progression of curing, and the curing takes several weeks, and then the water regulates it. So it's a aspect of breaking the surface tension to get the first bond, and then maintaining the humidity over time as you're getting the additional layers. But you can bond an old piece that's like fully cured, this is probably close to fully cured, with new stuff, and it's not really that difficult. You don't need like a special bonding agent. You just got to kind of manage how it goes on, and the layers and the humidity and stuff like that. And it's all very possible to do, even exposed. Like I don't need to give it covered or anything, and you give it a large enough force before this is all cured. Obviously this whole thing would just come off as a panel off of the original structure, but once it's all cured and bonded, the geometry of the metal will apply the force to the underlying structure the way that it's desirous, basically, once it's all bonded together. I don't know if I explained that well. It probably took way too long, but I'm about to mix a batch of mortar and get a second coat on this transition to this next cattle panel here. And you can see how it's laying down there. That'll bend up higher, but this is all just to get a good like 1.5 bond over the whole thing. So in batch number 2 on Monday, I got as far as I could on the arch up there, basically up to the cinder blocks, and then pretty much all the rest of it went on this ramp here. So I've got this plastic mesh thing, rolled that down. You can see how it's coming at the end, and I just had enough to cover the ramp, so probably about a 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of mortar with that integrated, which will I'm going to end up doing one more coat over this and probably use a trowel on that, make it nice and smooth. But this should help kind of like with the load, because it's so thin. As the load is going down, the mesh pulls in, so having another layer I felt like would just help with the integrity of this ramp and make it last longer without cracking and whatnot. And I like that it's plastic. So that's it for right now. It's nice and hot, and take care of the animals, take a break. So it's Wednesday morning. Yesterday I couldn't do any mortar because the forecast was funky. It was very uncertain yesterday. But I did a bunch of metal work, so I did some lath around the side of the arch, and then I was able to go all the way to do the next one, to go over the peak of the arch. So first batch of mortar today is going to get coverage on all that, and then some other areas like underneath the domes that need it. So believe it or not, I was able to crawl out to there to get mortar up to the end there. It's surprisingly strong, even though it's all just extended from one side and now it's arced over the middle. But the metal has quite a bit of strength, so it'll like move, kind of like shake a bit, like up and down, like the reverberations, but it will hold the weight because the rebar is tied in on that side largely. But also this just becomes a weight bearing thing. So part of my idea is to get this all the way out there, just in tension off of the structure over here, because then when it intersects the column with cement, its weight will already be balanced, basically, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but that's all for mortar for right now. So it's Saturday morning, and I had 2 days of other priorities, very hot weather and other priorities. So Thursday and Friday I didn't get any work done, so I wasn't able to make progress of connecting the column to the arch. But I'll just show you where the progress was for the week. So now the facade is basically complete and it's all level. It looks really cool. It makes it the 2 bunkers, or arcades or tunnels or whatever you want to call them, makes it all look like one structure. If you're looking at it from the gate tower, it looks really cool. You like look through the arch or this structure and it looks like there's so much depth. You can see like the side walls up there and the crenellations, how thick it looks like the walls are from here. And I was able to take down the strap. I haven't taken down those 2 cinder blocks, but those 3 up there are all down. And at some point I'll probably cover up the rest of this plastic. I could just cut it because it's only really necessary on the ramp here, but extending it further, the idea was to even out like the mortar right there. The cattle panel ends right there, so if I go a little further, it gives more room for bonding with the structure below, so I might end up doing that. But here, so I started to do the sidewall with the lath, and that, even though there's just like 1 coat there, that'll add a significant amount of strength to keep this arch in place, because it's on the other plane. So like because it's vertical, it can hold the thing up a lot better than the thing that's horizontal. And I've got that ladder that's been pushing that right side up as I've been pulling and kind of weighting the left side down to even out the top of it, because the way that each arch is coming up, they're like tilted a little bit, and it's based off of various factors, so that they're not like perfectly aligned, so I gotta like shape the metal as it goes. And anyways, it almost looks like we can walk all the way over, but this next transition will be really big, and that'll be for next week. And generally speaking, everything's going good here. The wasps have been defeated and the honey has been secured, and things are looking good currently. So that's all for this week. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.